A bitter chill clung to the obsidian citadel, a fortress carved from mountain stone that mirrored King Darius's own heart inside. Darius tasted only the ashes of duty. The reports are consistent. My king, Tiber, his beta, droned. The blight spreads fastest near the southern human border. The magical suppression is unlike anything we've seen. Darius didn't look up. It's human filth. Tiber it always is. His voice was low, stripped of any warmth. He trusted no one. You forget, Tiber, Darius said, a cruel edge returning. I learned long ago that all sentient beings are driven by selfishness and fear. Humans, shifters, it's all the same rot. He dismissed Tiber in the privacy of the den. He forced the shift. It was violent. His bones groaned, his flesh tearing, and reforming the wolf was colossal. Midnight for powerful shoulders. Soon after, he crossed the boundary, following the creeping, unnatural chill. The trap sprung silently. A magical tripwire slammed into his flank. The pain was immediate, paralyzing, absolute. In the span of a breath, the alpha wolf was reduced to a shuddering mass. No, not here, he tried to growl, but only a desperate wheeze escaped as the wind shifted. The scent of a nearby human wafted toward him, faint, weak, and strangely floral. Truth be told, Lena knew the doctor's prognosis was grim. She wouldn't see the spring, but she still needed the rare frostbloom root for her sister. As the sky darkened, the snow started, heavy, beautiful flakes. While the forest held its breath, she saw him, not a monster, but simply a colossal, midnight-furred creature suffering. He was bleeding from a wound that pulsed with a horrible, sickly green light. Her heart skipped, not from fear, but from a surge of pity. He's dying, he's cold. Oh, you poor dear, she whispered, her voice steady with his scent in the air. Her instincts screamed to flee instead. Her heart ached. She knelt beside him because the cold was his immediate enemy. Lena focused on shelter without thinking. She packed snow and pulled down pine boughs. This is all I can do for you, she murmured. To make things worse, the blizzard intensified. The wind, howling her own warmth, was draining rapidly. Internal monologue, Lena, my life is fading anyway, let it mean something. As the bond pulsed, a purely spiritual, empathic connection, she laid herself down against the wolf's immense, cooling flank with every heartbeat. She whispered soft comforts. The alpha wolf felt the heat, pure absolute giving. As the silence roared in his ears, his life force was saved. Moments later, Lena's breathing became shallow, her eyes softened with peace. Just like that, everything changed, for him, in the blink of her death. The familiar scent of cedar and expensive silk filled Darius's nostrils. He was in his royal chambers, warm, alive, uninjured. He slammed his fist onto the nightstand. A lie? But then, he caught sight of the map. It showed the blight exactly as it had been 1 week ago. In that moment, his disbelief shattered. He was trapped. He had to find the source of the paradox. He summoned Tiber, demanding forbidden texts on temporal anomalies. After that, he began to research Lena. He visited covertly. Observing her, he saw her tending her sickly sister, smiling at an old woman. She is kind. The thought was repulsive. Even so, the sight of her small, fading life made his stomach clench. He knew exactly when he would be injured. He prepared to take the familiar route again before she could move. He had to prevent the debt from being paid. Darius ran the familiar path. Despite that, the paralyzing jolt of the trap slammed into his flank. Identical. When Lena arrived, her appearance was identical. Darius forced a desperate growl, a sound of sheer, feral warning. Lena froze. I know, big one, I know you're angry, she whispered, but then she looked past the snarl. But I can't leave you, she insisted. She began pulling the pine boughs again. His sheer power, none of it mattered against her simple goodness. Under the weight of his stare, he realized the true meaning. It wasn't about avoiding the blight. It was about overcoming the choice. Lena died just like that. Everything changed again. He awoke. The initial rage was replaced by cold strategy. That's why he knew the only variable left was the poison. He spent 2 full loops dedicated entirely to mapping the Mu Petal Thorn, a toxic, neutralizing antidote. Still, The most compelling research was Lena. He watched her kindness. With every heartbeat he watched her, his cynical belief system cracked a little further. He realized he felt fiercely protective of her, a dangerous, illogical emotion. On the fourth loop, armed with the antidote, Darius shattered the vial upon injury. The moon petal combined with the blight was a vortex of white-hot agony. His thoughts spun. But then, Lena was there as the wind shifted, bringing her comforting scent. She saw him convulsing. She laid herself over him. No, not again. Darius's mind screamed. Her warmth bought him 2 hours, but the failure was devastating. He reset. The memory of her lullaby echoing the antidote was too volatile. On the 8th loop, he tried kindness. I have to save her, not for the dead, but because she is good. He became a ghost, leaving anonymous aid, the frost bloom root, a warm shawl, potency. He felt it, clear as day, a satisfaction utterly foreign to his heart. On the 7th day, Lena arrived at the trap. She looked healthier. Lena, you were the one who fixed Alara's fence, weren't you? Thank you. She felt it, clear as day, the recognition. I'm stronger now. Big friend, because of the tea and the shawl. I feel like I have enough left for both of us. She began to work quickly. Darius realized his kindness had only reinforced her determination. What's worse, he hadn't removed the need. As the truth unraveled, he knew the only way out was surrender. He injected a larger dose of the antidote into his body, creating a volatile, internal bomb. His bones remembered him. Cramping violently, he had to prove that his life was less valuable than hers. The trap struck without warning. Darius plunged his paw directly into the magical residue. The antidote reservoir ignited. He forced the partial shift, a terrifying, grotesque form. Lena arrived. What are you? No, you're not just a wolf. Darius vocalized rough growl. Go. The cave behind the large pine warmth. But then, she looked past the snarl to his eyes. They were shining with a please so raw it cracked her heart. Instead of retreating, she took a hesitant step. Darius roared, channeling every shred of remaining alpha magic. He bypassed his own healing entirely as fire bloomed beneath her skin. He cast the shielding/warming charm directly onto Lena. The energy expenditure was catastrophic. His shifter core short-circuited just like that. Everything changed. He collapsed, his form dissolving into the human king, naked, poisoned, and utterly vulnerable. Lena stared down at the man who was the wolf. Her world tilted. The protective warmth proved it. He didn't need shelter, he needed to give it. More importantly, she realized the wolf had been fighting time. As the echo faded of the magical burst, she snapped into action. Because the charm kept the cold from biting, she could think clearly. She remembered the command, the cave behind the large pine warmth. She began dragging his immense, dead weight. She didn't know what scared her more, the weight of his body, or the depth of the world he represented. By the time she reached the hidden cave, she had pulled him onto the dry furs. She had accepted the gift of his sacrifice, and by using the tools he provided to save his life, she had rendered her initial fatal choice null. She had found a way to save him without dying. A silent, invisible wave of energy washed over the borderlands. The loop was broken. 3 days passed. Darius remained unconscious. Lena, wrapped in the protective charm, worked tirelessly. Meanwhile, Darius was trapped in his own internal prison, the terrifying emptiness of a stripped alpha. As the silence roared inside him, he felt the humiliation of mortality. Next, Lena went through a dark night of the soul. She could leave. She didn't know what scared her more, dying of a terminal illness or facing a pack of shifters. She picked up his royal signet ring. The tension broke only when she remembered the agonizing surrender in his eyes. You broke yourself for me, she whispered, because he had proven his love. She owed him devotion. Darius woke with a gasping cough. Her voice trembled as she pressed a warm cup to his lips. In the quiet that followed, he looked up. Lena alive and him alive, but weak as the silence roared. He found only an empty, cold space. I am a shell. I am human. Without warning, Lena's hands guided him back down. Darius, low, rough whisper. The charm, did it hold? Lena, quietly, looking at his eyes, the gold gone. It held. You saved me, and then you broke. You need time, because your healing magic is gone. I need to know, who are you? Who is the wolf? And just like that, Everything changed. He confessed everything. The Citadel, the pack, his alpha status, the betrayal that fueled his hatred. Darius, you broke the loop. Lena, I am in debt to you, and I am weak. That's why I need to trust you completely, for the first time in my existence. Lena, I will not abandon a weak man, but your weakness is a danger. How do we get a half-poisoned king past his loyal, paranoid guards? On the other hand, Lena's questions were practical, sharp, and fearless. Next, they planned they would disguise him as a sick, elderly human peasant. Steamy, emotional moment. Darius reached out, his hand trembling, and gently touched the wool shawl she wore. Her heart skipped. Darius, the charm, it holds the only magic I have left. Lena, softly, placing her hand over his, it holds your heart. Darius, I will use it to get us both home. As the bond pulsed, a mutual understanding, Darius felt the birth of trust. The night of the full moon instead, for Darius, it was a reminder of his utter impotence. Lena held his arm, the picture of a supportive villager. They heard the rhythmic tread of wolf paws. Her heart skipped. She pulled Darius into the shadow. Tiber appeared, his gold eyes sweeping the rich. Lena, whispering, terrified, he's looking right at us. Tiber, deep growl, shifting, identify yourselves. What business do you have this close to the king's walls? As the silence stretched, Lena stepped forward. Forgive us, great wolf, we are far from the village my father here he suffers. The moment their eyes locked, Tiber's gold and Darius's weak hazel, Darius used his last weapon, knowledge of the future. Darius, thin, wavering voice. Tiber, the eastern flank, the wards are failing near the old god oak. Go now. The truth unraveled only for Tiber. The specific security knowledge cut through his suspicion. Tiber, obeying, take your father and run. If I see you here again, the pack will end you both. By the time they slipped through the unguarded perimeter, they had won. Inside the citadel, Darius recovered rapidly. Come morning, he faced Tiber. The golden alpha light was gone. Darius, the blight is neutralized and I know precisely who saved this kingdom. Tiber. Tiber, my king, the gold is gone. She drained you. Darius, she is a human. Tiber, one who risked her life, not only that, but surrendered her last warmth to save a king who despised her kind. She did what you would never have been able to do. She transcended selfishness. As the bond pulsed, a final acknowledgement of the truth, Darius's gaze was absolute. After that, Darius convened the elders. The time for isolation and hatred is over, he proclaimed, because the deepest act of betrayal came from within, and the purest act of salvation came from outside. Our kingdom will change. Lena has purchased our future with her life force. The loop was broken. Darius was king, but forever changed. Lena was accepted into the citadel as a crucial advisor. 2 years later, Darius sat in the royal library. At the same time, Lena entered, carrying their newborn daughter. Lena, she has your hands, Darius, and your terrible temper. Darius chuckled. He looked at his daughter, then at Lena. His heart full, her soul answered his silent gratitude. Darius, she is beautiful, and you, my queen of the borderlands, you are still too good for this broken alpha. Lena, no, she whispered, leaning down to kiss him, the scent of spring flowers surrounding him. You were broken, but you chose to heal. That's not good. Darius, that's love. Just like that, everything changed forever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more epic werewolf romance audiobooks.